Let's go.
Point about empathy, I think that's what sets women apart from the men, because empathy is something that can change the perspective of how a business is run, or how an organization is run, or how even life is run. I think that's the strongest point, and that's where women, they support each other, come forward, and it's their empathy that takes them to that. Reading the other day that 80% of women who are mentors or who mentor other women say that their primary motivation for mentoring is that they want the other women to rise up. So it's for their upliftment that they want to mentor. So it's a thought that stayed with me for and it's a very powerful thought, because you as a woman are mentoring other women, and it totally is against that whole myth of, like how you were saying, of jealousy and stuff like that. So that's something that happens in the real world. In fact, I can share a few examples with you. There's a very interesting case. When Obama took over as the president, there was this whole situation where two-thirds of his aide, the top management in his team, was men, and one-third were women, and all of them were struggling to be heard. It was the general tendency of men dominating all the conversation, taking all the decisions. So women had to sort of really think of an out of the box idea, and what they did, it's called the amplification strategy. So what they did was they celebrated other women. So when they were in meetings, or when any projects were going on, anytime a woman spoke, the other women, stood up for her, spoke about her initiative. They celebrated it, and that led to an immense change. Within a few years' time, the situation was 50-50 instead of two-third and one-third. So they had made sure that they had, made a mark. They had enough voice in the whole system, and that seems like a very, very powerful way of dealing with. In fact, they didn't fight for anything. They just empathized with other women. I don't shine if you don't shine, it's called. So that's how they went forward and made all the difference.